Welcome to the Fantasy Throwdown Podcast, bringing you the latest updates from the world of sports, gambling, and pop culture. Because you can't have a show without hot takes or a Tiger King meme these days. Know what I'm saying? Now, with over 200 episodes and ready to get after it again, here's your host, Dwayne Callender.
Hello and welcome to the show. Late night, but we're going to get through this quickly. The Yankees have completed their sweep of the Boston Red Sox. This was not a well-played series at all, to be honest. I know people are going to be reacting as though the Yankees are locked to make the playoffs now with the sweep, but the reality of the situation is neither team played well in this series. Boston has some issues they got to sort out. The Yankees were very lucky to get away with this game as well. Joey Gallo had a horrendous drop. I mean, there were some bad plays being made in multiple parts of the series. But as I will say, the Yankees are extremely fortunate to have won this game tonight and also get the sweep. If they didn't get the sweep, I mean, it would just be disastrous given how Gallo dropped that pop-up if that led to them losing the game in that fashion. But realistically, you have a situation here where the Yankees are now going to be traveling to Toronto. So tomorrow's an off day. They're traveling to Toronto for a primetime game against Toronto. They got a 3-game set in Toronto. You're likely going to get a matchup of Cole. Cole's probably either going up against Berrios or Robbie Ray, who, and I'll get to Ray in a minute. Like, Ray's probably winning the AL Cy Young. Like, this is a playoff series, basically. The Yankees have a playoff series to get into the playoffs, and not just to get into the playoffs, to get into a one-game playoff. Just to be clear, it's a one-game playoff for the wild card regardless. But, you know, as it stands, the Yankees are only going to get one more Garrett Cole start this season. I don't necessarily see it. I see it as a case where maybe if you rush Cole, you could get him going for, because I think the way it's going to wrap up is that, you know, a Sunday against the Rays, provided they can get one of the wild card spots. And again, I say this with greatest, the Yankees could very easily lose this series to Toronto, and Toronto is playing Baltimore to conclude the season. The Red Sox are also playing Baltimore while the Yankees and Blue Jays are playing each other. This is why I said it was so pivotal for the Yankees to get a sweep in one of the matchups between the Blue Jays and the Red Sox. This at least gives them a chance. But the Red Sox conclude the season with at Baltimore and at Washington. You know, the Red Sox, even with the losses this weekend, and they butchered their chances because of bad bullpen play, and Alex Cora, you know, he tried multiple guys in the bullpen. Nobody could get the job done. It's just bad. It's very bad. And, again, the Yankees, so fortunate to get away with the defensive miscues. Tyler Wade getting caught stealing because he didn't slide. Like, the Yankees are playing really bad baseball. I know people are going to be like, yay, yay. And then, like, I wish I could do... actually, I gotta find a sound clip of when The Rock used to do the mocking yay chants of fans, because again, you know, should you kind of be happy the Yankees won? I guess, but like Stanton got had back-to-back games with big hits. Yeah. There's no consistency on this team. They play bad the only thing consistent about the Yankees is that more often than not, in multiple games, they're going to play bad baseball. Like, that's the consistent thing about the Yankees. I don't know. I just don't feel very good about the Yankees, even now, making the playoffs. Because I think this upcoming matchup with the Blue Jays, we're going to see if they can actually clean certain things up because Boston did not have a good series. I don't think the Yankees could get away with that against Toronto. So, personally, I think Toronto's probably winning this upcoming series against the Yankees, which would put the Yankees in a spot where to make the playoffs, they're going to have to win 2 out of 3 against Tampa. Like I said, the Yankees were going to need to get at least 6 wins. At least. Probably 7. But they at least got the sweep, so they got 3 wins out of the way. I think, realistically, you got to find a way to win this series against Toronto. I don't know. You got Ray and Barrios coming up, and the Yankees, realistically, against power pitch, like, they don't really fare that well. I don't necessarily like the Yankees' chances heading into this series. So this first matchup where they're probably going to run up against Ryu, they got to get this first one. They got to get this first one against Toronto. It'll set the tone. It'll put the Blue Jays further behind the 8 ball and put the pressure on them that they have to win the remaining 2 games. Like you got to put the Blue Jays on the back foot. And the Blue Jays gets to get this first game, all bets are off in my opinion because the Blue Jays are only 2 games back. And they would, they pull 1 game back and have both their races go. Even with Cole going, as like I wouldn't necessarily take that bet. So I think the Yankees got away with one in this series against Boston. They are not out of the woods yet by a country mile. So you take what you can get and kind of move on from there. But yeah, I know folks are going to be happy with the Yankees getting the sweep, but man, they did not look clean at all. And to me, you should be getting closer to looking like a playoff team. And the Yankees still aren't. They do not resemble a playoff team, in my opinion. There's just too much sloppiness up and down this team right now that usually those kind of miscues keep you from being a playoff team. But we'll see. They got 6 games to make it happen. I know folks are already penciling them in for the playoffs, but I think that's being way too presumptuous. Even with Tampa having already clinched the AL East, they are going to be playing to knock out the Yankees from the playoffs. So, to me, it is they are far from out of the woods just yet. What else happened? You had the New York Football Giants lose yet another close game in embarrassing fashion. This team is not good. They're not well coached. Their coach loses discipline all the time in Joe Judge. It's just brutal to watch this team play. They're random challenges that don't make any sense. This team just does not look remotely focused as to what they should be doing. So it's frustrating. It really is frustrating watching how backwards it seems at times. So you had the Giants lose. I was happy to see the U.S. not only win the Ryder Cup, stomp. Like the Ryder Cup team, I have to give credit for because didn't know what Dustin Johnson we were going to get. We actually got number 1 player in the world, just Dustin Johnson, for this weekend. Like Dustin hadn't been that locked in at least 6 months. That's how dominant Dustin Johnson was. So, like that was the Dustin Johnson we remember seeing as the number 1 player in the world. He hasn't been that guy in ages. Bryson DeChambeau didn't even look remotely affected at all. You had huge crowds there. You had crowds cheering, booing against it, because it always gets routed with the Ryder Cup. Bryson, absolutely locked in. Nothing to worry about whatsoever. And the talent of the U.S. team just overwhelmed the European side. And, Rory McIlroy was not ready for that moment. He finally got a point in earlier today, but, man, the European team just got completely overwhelmed by the U.S. side. And the U.S. side was more talented. The issue with the U.S. side, as I talked about, was the chemistry. How were those guys going to work well together? And, even afterwards, Dustin Johnson, kind of put Bryson and Brooks Koepka on the spot of hugging it out. And so you even had that little viral moment there. But overall, just incredible performance by the Ryder Cup team, because it was 19-9. It was not close. It was pretty much decided heading into today anyway. But they put it away early. It was not close. But so you had the Ryder Cup, and with Sunday Night Football, not a good night for me. You just had the Packers win a close game against the 49ers in a game where the Packers were pretty much in a good spot. Jimmy Garoppolo, San Francisco's got an issue. Jimmy Garoppolo is struggling mightily if he doesn't have everything handed to him. And I thought Jimmy Garoppolo was a better quarterback than what he's shown, because I didn't think this was a Jared Goff situation. But right now, Jimmy Garoppolo is having issues where if his primary read is not there, he is not going through enough progressions, and his line protection is not that bad. And yes, is there pressure? Yes. It's not bad enough that he can't go through the proper progressions. There are plays to be made. I was seeing this earlier with Matt Ryan, where he's just gun shy and having tons of time to make decisions, and he just doesn't want to throw into certain windows. I'm seeing the exact same thing with Jimmy Garoppolo. It's week 3 already, and we already got QBs getting gun shy to throw the football into tight windows. It's this is what you get paid all the big bucks for, to make those throws happen. So I'd be a little bit concerned for certain fan bases, because when you have these immobile QBs, they have to be able to make those passes. I mean, I just saw Big Ben flounder around for the Steelers earlier today against the Bengals. I had that game pegged, but Big Ben was awful. We'll do a rundown eventually of the football games at some point, but like I said, just to kind of cap things off, the Yankees did get a big win, but I'm still very much cautious about their prospects moving forward. So with that being said, I'm going to get on out of here. So have a good night, everybody, and we will circle back very soon. So it's going to be a quick turnaround next week. So until next time, have a good one.
Thanks for listening to the Fantasy Throwdown Podcast. Be sure to like and subscribe to the show on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and all other major outlets.